You're watching Toronto Sports Rush on the Bet Rivers Network.
It's Wednesdays with Keegs, and Keegs, a good day to be alive after a week of haywire data and Wi-Fi. We have a crystal clear connection. It's only onwards and upwards from here.
This is the dream, guys. I feel like I'm back home already. You know, it's my life down here is a battle against technology, really. It's something about cell service in Florida, Dan. I don't know. I'm sure if I asked some locals, they'd have some wacky theories for me that would go a little off the rails. But we're living the good life today. I'm hanging back at Blue Jays camp. The Jays are down the road in Lakeland. But I'm like, Jana, I view myself as like a 36-year-old veteran now, you know? Like, it takes a lot to get me on the bus, you know? When you make the big $20 million a year like I do, you don't get on the bus for much. So it's a day kicking around camp. I'm doing some prospect work today for MLB Pipeline, but man, I got the room to myself, man. I got the snacks and the coffee machine behind me here. I'm living a good life. It's as glamorous as they say.
Life is good as we await the arrival of an Alberta Clipper.
Wow. Yeah, this is a tough spring for me to complain about being here, to complain about being hot. It hasn't gone well for me when I've tried to do that. This is a low sympathy spring for me. But because my people, my girlfriend, my apartment are in Toronto, and my company is based in New York. And those don't seem like great places right now. So good luck, everybody.
We've discussed Kazuma Okamoto a few times already, Japanese superstar now with the Jays. Seeing the highlights of his home run, the thing that stuck with me was this man has tree trunks for legs. I was watching it with the family. They're like, look at the size of that guy's legs.
He's got a hockey player body, doesn't he?
He does.
He's really like, maybe he was a goalie in a past life. You know, like I'm a former goalie, and I know that I'm just big by nature. But I tell you what, buying pants is to this day a very big issue. But Kazuma Okamoto, he is built for power, man, and you see it so often with Japanese and Korean pitchers, where they use the lower body much more to create velocity and movement, but with hitters as well. I think the Japanese hitters coming over, the way that they train from when they are young, playing high school ball right up to pro ball in Japan, is much more about using the entire body, using the rotation and force of your core. And Okamoto does that beautifully. Like, I love his swing, man. I love Okamoto's swing. It is such a pretty swing. Behind Vladdy, when he really connects and has that high finish, it's as nice a swing as you are going to see on this roster. It is very aesthetically pleasing, let's say. And now listen, was it windy that day, Dan? God, yeah. Okay, maybe that wouldn't have clanked off the top of the batter's eye, but as a welcome gift, we will give that to Okamoto. It was beautiful. A great swing. To do that on a slider down and away, a breaking ball, like that's real big league stuff. Okay, if you get a fastball down the pipe, everyone can do something with that. That was a tough pitch. And it, again, makes me appreciate how much of this team and this camp is revolving around Okamoto, Dan. You know, it brings me back to my early days covering Vladdy, where no matter what Vladdy did, I had to be on top of it, okay? When Okamoto hit that home run, I'll be very honest with you, I was about to get out of there. You know, my spring training days are kind of split between the complex and the stadium on both sides. I bounce around a lot. I'm not always at all 9 innings. I was packing up, and I knew that Okamoto was either at bat or coming up next, and I heard the contact, and I said, oh, okay, I got to stick around. I got to talk to Kazuma Okamoto. But it's worth it, man. He's fun as hell to cover, and that was the best swing you'll probably see all spring training, man. I'm fired up to watch him in the WBC, too. You know, like the Jays have a player on all the big teams, USA, Dominican, Japan. Like, he was big in the last WBC. I think he homered in that gold medal game. I'm pretty fired up to watch Okamoto in the WBC, man. Like, he's a sneaky candidate that could pop in and win MVP or something.
In spring training, are guys testing out walk-up songs? Are you getting a sneak peek at what Kaz is going to have?
Yes, I always look like a huge dork because I'm at spring training games, like Shazamming songs that I should already know. And, you know, I'll Shazam a song, and it's like a Drake song or something, and I feel like a dork. Okamoto's, I have it on my Shazam here somewhere, and it's like a piano intro into some sing. It's quite new to me. Okay, it's not exactly like relief pitcher heavy metal. Sorry, but I like it a lot, man. The whole vibe's working, and unfortunately, a lot of those walk-up songs are back from last year. You know, you get some repeats, but we'll see. I need some variety. You know?
Take a sip of liquid. I'll ask a long question here because I don't know if your Instagram algorithm is like mine, and I'm starting to feel bad for Bichette because it keeps popping into my feed, him taking fielding drills with the Mets, and people are like, this guy's garbage. This guy, I'm like, I want to scream him. It's spring. None of this matters. Like, he's taking fielding drills. Maybe he's trying out something new. Maybe he's trying out a new glove. Are you seeing this this negativity directed towards Bichette as well?
And I like that it's just like one or two clips. Right, they're just. I feel like it gets a new life every day. Man, thank goodness my day-to-day work is not monitored with such interest, and that comes with making $40+ million in New York and with the Mets. That's what you sign up for. And we've talked about this, Dan, a bit about, you know, when you go to New York, you've got the New York Post and the tabloid pages and some really critical sports radio. And again, this gets back to when people talk about Toronto as a tough market. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, okay? Toronto sports radio, Canadian sports radio, broadly speaking, this does not at all apply to everything, but if you were to generally define it, it's just a lot of guys agreeing with each other, okay? It's, did Austin Matthews look good? Yes, I think he did. Okay, that's a lot of Canadian sports radio on a day-to-day basis. Whereas if I pull up to New York for a series or Philadelphia for a series, I love to put on like the local sports talk station in the morning as I'm walking around the city or whatever, because it's a different experience, man. I'm a sucker for even putting on like First Take on ESPN in the morning and just being like, what's going on? You know, it fascinates me. So it's going to be a different experience for Bo, man. And those clips that he's getting killed for, that would have been a 2-hour thing in Toronto. Some people would have gotten their jokes off and it would have gone away, I think. But that stuff sticks around. And if he does that opening day, or if he does that in a Subway series or playing against a big rival, you're going to get toasted for that. Again, you can say a lot of mean things online about me. If you're giving me $40 million, I'll be a little bit better. I will wipe my tears with those $1 million bills, but different life for Bo there, man. And I hope it works out for him. I hope they get to appreciate him as a hitter soon. But those clips, man, it's he's got to start taking grounders on like a private backfield or something.
It's funny you mentioned that about Canadian sports radio. Jay and I, we did an ongoing bit on our show in which it was Canadian sports debate. And he would say something and I'd say, yeah, I agree. And then we'd stare at each other for a minute. So we had something there. I just think the execution, it just was really awkward. We sat there in 1 minute of silence nodding.
It's like an inside industry thing. I think that's the funniest thing possible. And the 20 of us who think it, and listen, I do a ton of radio and I have for years. And there are times where I feel like I could just take a right turn and be like, you know what? I think Vladdy's an alien. And the host would be like, absolutely. Now on to George Springer. You know, it's a different world, man. It's less personal, you know, but
it's more positivity too. We don't really go in the gutter.
You know, you don't take the personal runs at guys. You're not gonna dox a guy or call a guy fat or do any of this. Like, whereas in the U.S., a lot of these markets get quite personal, and it's an art form, sports talk radio, where you kind of blur into shock jock, crazy stuff. Some people walk the line. Some people don't know the line exists, but different world, man. And it's always interesting to hear guys who have been in Toronto and go somewhere else, or even guys who come the other way and they get to Toronto and think, oh, this is not that bad. Like, you guys, if I suck, you'll write that, but you're not trying to ruin my life, you know? So it's a different world.
People are wondering, where's Trey Yesavage been, but it's by design why we haven't seen him on the mound yet.
By design. So it's not bad news. There's nothing bad happening. He's not hurt. But last year, so let's take this back a year and a half, Dan. When the Blue Jays drafted Yesavage in July of 2024, he had already thrown over 90 innings in NCAA ball. They decided in July, mid-season 2 years ago, to shut him down. That was enough. They worked on some things, but he didn't pitch in games. So that was essentially, a 9 or 10 month off season until the next year began. Then last year, he's throwing 130 plus innings from single A all the way up to high A, double A, triple A, the big leagues, and the World Series. Come on. So it's as unique an 18 months as a pitcher could possibly have, I think. And the Blue Jays, I think very wisely, are taking it slow with him. And the way John Schneider said it is that it's a pretty big ask to say, hey, Trey, here's 32 starts, here's 200 innings. And I agree with him. Because when you look back through Blue Jays history, Dan, we're searching for Roy Halladay. This organization has been looking for Roy Halladay forever. There's these archetypes that you're looking for. And this organization hasn't developed that ace who sticks around. You go back through Alek Manoah. He had 2 years where he looked like that. Didn't happen. Go back to Nate Pearson. He was supposed to be that guy forever. Nate Pearson was one of the top pitching prospects on the planet. It didn't work. Aaron Sanchez is another example. To an extent, Marcus Stroman. Go back to Ricky Romero. Ricky Romero overlaps with Roy Halladay. He looked okay in 2009, pretty good in 2010. 2011, he looked like he could be an ace. 2 years later, he was done in the big leagues, right? So there are all of these examples of how it can go wrong. And you can only control so much. Dan, we talk about this a lot, how the human body is just not designed to throw baseballs, okay? We are pushing elbows and shoulders way further than they're meant to be pushed. So you can only control so much, but what you can control is workload, is how much you're asking a guy to do. So what this looks like is what interests me now, Dan. Do you ease him off and keep him at 80 pitches? What does that look like? Do you shut him down for a few weeks in the middle and then ramp him back up? Or do you skip him every once in a while? If you're Eric Lauer, I think it's good news, man. Eric Lauer somehow, some way is going to throw 120 innings for this team, and he's going to be important as hell to the Blue Jays. I don't know what it's going to look like, I don't know what Yesavage will look like, but it's going to be really flexible, and it's going to be all over the place, but it's a plan, and I'm all for it, man, because I'm getting to the point where I've covered 4 or 5 of these next aces, and it makes me cynical, whenever I hear that tag, I'm like, okay. It was like catcher of the future in Toronto forever. Remember, Aaron Sebia and all these guys, Guillermo.
I was at the game where I was at his debut game where he went deep, twice?
One of the best debuts in Blue Jays history. Mm-hmm. There's just these cursed tags in Toronto. Catcher of the future. You look at the ace of the future. It's backfired a lot. So Yesavage, God, we all know he can be that. But if you can increase the odds of that by being a little more careful this year, cool, man. They've got enough starting pitching around him.
So taking it easy with Yesavage, what's the update on Bieber's injury? Because we already know he is not going to be there for the start of the season as they try to ease him back in.
The Biebs, he is going to ideally get on a mound soon. So what are we, February 25th? We're about a month from opening day. If Bieber in the next week starts to throw off a mound, you're not going to crank him up in a rush. He's going to still do a normal spring training. So I think a perfect scenario, Dan, would be late April, early May, right now. I don't know what that looks like in a few weeks, but if everything goes well from today on, you're a month into the season or so, roughly. And frankly, just like Yesavage, that can be a good thing because Bieber was coming back from Tommy John last year, and just like Yesavage, when he debuted, he got cranked right into this World Series race. So it's a different thing pitching on a Tuesday in May against the White Sox versus the World Series against the Dodgers. You're more tense. That's more stress. It does impact the body differently. So that will, I think, work out naturally and it'll work out well for him. But again, Dan, it gets us to this rotation that's just a bunch of moving pieces and you don't know how they're going to fall together. We were saying before we came on, I'd love to cover the 85 Blue Jays or the 87 Jays, and it's just Dave, Steve, Jimmy Key, and whoever else is making 38 starts that year, But this is all part of the strategy, and you can do it right and you can do it wrong. We'll see how this goes. They have all the pieces, right down to Lauer. That's 7 good starters. I just don't know what it's going to look like and how you piece it together. And if something else goes wrong, maybe Max Scherzer walks through these doors in a couple days. We'll see. But I still think we're one thing going wrong away from that for now. We'll see. But they've got the arms, man. It's just a puzzle. And along with making the lineup every day, John Schneider's going to have to figure out pitching day to day, man. This is a daily job now.
Professional athletes are very different now. Before, guys would show up at camp 20, 30 pounds overweight.
And play their way into shape. Like, I wish I'd covered that, man. Just show up a little fat and full of beer and then figure it out for a month. Like, that would be a good one.
So no one's doing that now. On the flip side, who so far that you've seen at camp was like, I don't think they took a day off. I think they worked out every single day of the offseason.
Addison Barger got bigger.
He got bigger?
He got bigger. It's ridiculous, but I think his shirt is tighter now. It's amazing. And, he is already, we know he's in stupid shape. I've never covered a baseball player like him, but I spoke to David Popkins about Barger, the hitting coach, and he said that one thing Barger learned last year is that, big league season, it's a bit longer than the minor league season, and it's more demanding. And a lot of what young players struggle with when they come up is getting to September and you're out of gas, especially if you're going to go on a World Series run. You're just toast at that point. Like, I'm toast and I don't do anything. I sit here, right? Like, it's a long year. And Barger did run into that a little bit. So he appears to have more muscles. I don't know where he found them or put them, but it's pretty wild to see. But when you look around the clubhouse, I actually did notice that Alejandro Kirk looks like he's in better shape this year. And I know that's always been a conversation with Kirk over his career, but I really admire.
He heard enough from the Fox crew the entire World Series.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's always the drop-ins, isn't it? Would you look at this? Like, did you know that Vladdy's dad was a ball player? Like, yeah, man. Yeah. But I noticed that. You want to know when I noticed it, Dan? He was staring up at the gold medal game on the TVs on the ceiling the other day, and I looked over and said, "Kirky, you look like in the best shape I've ever seen you, right?" But yeah, Barger is the one I'm interested to see this year, man. And I have such a spot for that. Normally when I see a baseball player who's all jacked, like we've talked about this with Ricky Tiedemann, their pitching prospect. When I see a ball player who is completely jacked and built, I've learned to see that and get worried. But I think something about it just works with Addison Barger. Like, he is fully and truly just that guy. Under his seat at his locker, he just keeps a 12-pack of C4 energy drinks. Like, he is, in every way, he is Addison Barger, man. And
in all ways, he's a bro.
He totally is, man. As the next month goes on, I want to take a run at a story on just like trying to understand Addison Barger. Like I did that last year with Alejandro Kirk, and my entire premise for this story was like, I've covered this guy for 6 years and I have no idea who he is. My premise for this story will be, I would like to understand Addison Barger. I don't know how close I will get, but I'm going to give it a go because the guy fascinates me, and he is somehow stronger this year, which should not be possible.
Keegs, I will tell you right now, if you do a day with every single player on that roster, people will consume that because, as you know, the desire for Jay's info right now is at an all-time high. So do that.
It sure is. It's not at a low, Dan. Let me tell you. Maybe we'll get Addison to put me through his workout.
Yeah.
And
you'd get injured. Any human would get injured.
My funeral at the end of that. But my God, he's a fascinating guy, man. And if there's anyone I'm going to bet on to absolutely explode this year, Addison Barger, man. Fun as hell as a ball player.
Keegs, leave us with this. What is the most Florida thing so far that you've seen or consumed?
Oh, baby. I've been boring on the consumed. Now, next week, my girlfriend flies down, and we get into all of the beach bars on Clearwater Beach. It feels like it's just this organized. There's like 3 or 4 different beach bars, each of which have 20 locations. Krabbies, Frenchies, Salties. It's all the same. But usually I'll get into a nice order of fried alligator. Yeah. They say it tastes like chicken. I think it tastes like alligator. The sticking on that theme, as I drive from here and through Tampa, the number of anytime I'm in America, the number of billboards for adult clubs always baffles me. Like, the billboards are just right out there. But mini golf courses featuring baby crocodiles is a business in this area like you would not believe. Okay, there are 50 of them. They all have neon signs advertising, "Come play mini golf with baby crocs." And, surely those baby crocodiles are being treated well and nothing's happening. But it's a weird area, man. I feel it, and I'm worried that it feels more normal to me each year. It's getting into my bloodstream, and I'm worried about that. But one of these days, I'll go mini golfing.
Well, here's the thing that pops up on my YouTube algorithm: police body cam videos, and a lot of them happen at those beachside bars.
Oh, yeah.
Where the cops are called, and all the bar wants is the two dudes out of their bar. And do you think they can leave? Do you think they can just leave? No, they end up in the back of a cop car every time.
Never. And I love, and I've seen some of those. Because when I go to one of these places, Dan, me and another writer, we will sit quietly in those two chairs for 5 straight hours and say nothing more than, yes, another. But man, everyone who comes in, it's their one time on vacation for the year. They're too sunburned. They're too stupid. They're too drunk. You see some great stuff. All you have to do is just step outside your room, and you will see people who cannot handle themselves.
Too sunburned, too stupid, too drunk. Get that on a shirt. Keegs, thanks for this. Make sure you subscribe. It helps us out and helps our algorithm. We'll see you back here next week, my friend.
You got it.
Thanks for watching Toronto Sports Rush on the Bet Rivers Network.